I said, good evening, everybody. My name's Clark. I'm an alcoholic. Thanks, Patrick. This is the first time I've ever spoken via computer. I've done this several times. I've been around for a little while. My sobriety date is 8/20/10. I just celebrated 11 years this past August. I am from Savannah, Georgia. Like Patrick said, you met my wife last week. We have 5 children, ranging from 10 years old to an almost 1-year-old. And when I first started this journey in sobriety, I didn't think that was possible. I had pretty much given up on a family, and here I am 11 years later, in a house full of love. I started in the restaurant business when I was 14 years old, and I've been doing that my entire career. And in the restaurant business, I don't know if anybody else is in it, drugs and alcohol play a very big part. Well, it did in mine. I started first, I identify as an alcoholic, but it's quicker for me to tell you the drugs that I haven't done. I haven't done crack, I haven't done meth, and I haven't done heroin. Pretty much anything else, you name it, I've done it. I was like, at the party, what do you got? It didn't matter to me. It was what it was. And I liked anything and everything I tried, but alcohol was what brought me to my knees. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. Sorry, I got off track. I've been doing this for a long time, but I've got 3 DUIs that they know about. My first one came when I was 19 years old, before I was even old enough to drink. I thought I was unlucky. I thought that I was just, I just got caught basically. My second one, I was at a bar here in Savannah. It was the day before St. Patrick's Day, and I don't know if any of you know, but like Savannah has the 2nd largest St. Patrick's Day in the nation. And we were out on the south side drinking at a bar, and that's about 30 minutes away. And I was toast, and I made it all the way back to where I live now, Wilmington Island, which is, like I said, about 30 minutes away. And I was almost to my driveway, and I swerved just a little bit, passing a cop, and he turned around and gave me a DUI on my driveway. And the third one, I was like, screw it. I pulled up on a roadblock, and I was like, I'm not going through that shit again. So I just blew through the roadblock. Apparently, they don't like you to do that. They came at me, guns drawn, and yeah, I spent that night in jail too. So I've been to 3 treatment programs. I've tried the 30-day program. I've tried the 8 to 12-week outpatient program, and then I went to a 6-month long-term. The 6-month long-term was finally when I was able to make the decision that, hey, I'm an alcoholic. I probably shouldn't be drinking anymore. But in between that, like I said, I got introduced to AA when I was 19. It didn't work that time. I had plenty of partying and left to do. I came back to AA about 2021 and still had some more partying to do. I've lost pretty much everything you can lose monetarily. Houses, cars, relationships, you name it, I've lost it. But that wasn't enough. I'm one of those alcoholics that like to, take it to the extreme. I'm a little stubborn. My wife can attest. It took me a long time to make the admission that I was an alcoholic. But at the same time, I thought I was still very young. I came into the rooms and I look around and I see all these old dudes, like Patrick. Just kidding, man. And they're just staring at me, looking at me, and wanting me to share my experience. And I had no experience. I had a lot of partying left to do. And I thought I was cut off early. I was cut off in my prime. But finally came to the admission that I was an alcoholic when I was about 31 in the treatment program. I moved back to Savannah. I tried the geographical change, and I moved to a little town called Aiken, South Carolina, which is like the buckle of the Bible Belt. And, me being from Savannah, you'd think this is a party town, and you'd think this was where I'd hit my first bottom. But no, I had to go to the buckle of the Bible Belt, and small town. I was a restaurant manager, and I knew all the liquor vendors. I knew all the bartenders. I knew everybody, and they'd come into my spot. I'd comp their stuff, and I'd go to theirs, and they'd comp mine. Then that's when I finally went to my first treatment program. And after that, I moved back to Savannah. I am not a one-chip wonder. I've got more white chips than I care to remember. I've got more 30-day chips. I've got 60-day chips. I've got 3-month chips, galore. But I've only got one 6-month chip, and that I had to go away for 6 months to get that chip. Once I finally moved back to Savannah and started taking sobriety somewhat serious, it still took me 3 years before I really grabbed onto the program. But once I did, my entire life changed. I had to go to the treatment program, and they make you work the first 7 steps at the treatment program. Step 1, I took in a mental hospital. My brother and my wife my brother and my mother had me committed to Georgia Regional, which is the mental hospital here in Savannah. And I was put on a 72-hour cycle because I was suffering from delirium tremens, and I was hearing and seeing some pretty crazy stuff. And when they ask you all those questions, what's your name? What year is it? Who's the president? Do you know why you're here? Do you know why you're here was the only question I could answer. I was able to say I'm an alcoholic. And I got out of there and I went to the treatment center, and that worked the rest of the steps up until 7. I'm a member of Serenity Group on Wilmington Island in Savannah, Georgia. I've been a member there 14, 15 years, but like I said, I've only got 11 years of sobriety. And I've had the same sponsor the entire time I've been in the Serenity Group. When I was at the treatment program and they made you finally read the big book, and he would tell me to do all this stuff before I finally got sober, and I'd be reading the big book and I'd be like, damn, I want to call John and tell him I found it finally. This stuff works. When I got back to Savannah, I went to a lot of meetings. Most of the time I was at 3 a day for the first year. And then, I'd get a job, and, I'd get a better job, and life started happening. So I'd, make 7 meetings a week, and mostly nighttime meetings. And that's where I met my first wife. I was about 3 years sober, and we met at AA. I did not 13 step her. She was a newbie, but she came after me, and uh, she got a sponsor. She worked the steps, and I would not be with her until she finally finished the steps, and she got her sponsor's approval. And she was about 6 months sober when we got together, and we were married for 3 years. And then in 2018, she succumbed to this disease. She overdosed on some meds that she was prescribed. And we had a 3-year-old daughter, a 2.5-year-old daughter at the time. And I was able to stay sober during that time. Like I said, I had about 3 years, and it was tough. I came home and I found her lying in our bedroom with my daughter. Well, my daughter was with me, and we came home and found her in the bedroom, and my daughter was trying to play with her, and I was trying to call the cops, and nothing. The only thing I wanted to do at that time was drink. But my higher power and the habits that I learned in this program were the only thing that stopped me from taking that drink. The book says, what one day and I'm paraphrasing, one thing that'll come between you and a drink is your relationship with your higher power. And that is absolutely true. Because if it were not for my higher power, I would have drank that day. Fast forward probably a year and a half, I met my wife that you heard last week, and we've been happily married for almost 2 years now. We've been together for almost 3, and she's sitting next to me, by the way. We're raising a crazy family. This program has given me a life back. When I got here, I had forgotten how to live. I'd forgotten how to take care of myself, bathe, shave, eat. When I first got to the treatment center, my last treatment center, I'm 6'3" and I weighed 125 pounds. I've always been skinny, but that was like, damn. And the people at the center commented on that because, like I said, I'm a chef, and I was going to work in the kitchen, and one of the guys said, "What, did you forget to eat?" And I didn't forget. It just messed up my buzz. But AA and the treatment centers taught me how to live again. Taught me how to be a part of the human race. They gave me a higher power back. They stopped me from waking up with that fear and anxiety every day. I was a daily drinker. If I was awake, my resting BAC was probably 0.01. Just because I had to keep it level or I would get physically ill. I've had seizures from DTs. I've had pancreatitis, enlarged liver, enlarged kidneys. But that my health was what finally made me accept the fact that I was an alcoholic and that it was not a good idea for me to drink again. Like I said today, I have a life that I want to wake up for, but before, I was drinking to pass out, and I was drinking hopefully not to wake up. I was at my lowest point. I was hoping to not wake up when I passed out. But today I couldn't imagine not being here for this. and that's all because of this program. I don't know how much longer you want me to go, Patrick, but I think I'm about good.